But you gotta wonder, is this really enough for the Dodgers to go over the hump? They're just willing to say random BS that they think might happen. There's this reporting that like Yamamoto was only willing to play for a team that has a Japanese player. But no, that's not actually the reporting.
Shohei Ohtani signed a 10-year, $700 million contract, which now makes him the highest paid athlete in American sports history. I don't know if anyone will get close to him ever again. I mean, when Bryce Harper signed his record-breaking deal, you knew that was going to get broken. When Jalen Hurts signed his record-breaking deal this past offseason, you knew he was going to get broken. Lamar Jackson did right after. But this is just an absurd contract. 10 years, $700 million.
Can't say it wasn't expected. Maybe not at this price it wasn't expected, but we all expected something bonkers, and that's exactly what we got. And when you look at it, you might think, oh, holy overpay. What is this? But if you look at the finer details, the fact that he's from Japan, which is another market, another way to make money, the fact that he's both a pitcher and a hitter, although there's some nuance to that we'll get into later, it seems like it may end up being worth it, but only time will tell.
So he became the highest paid player in MLB history, obviously. That's higher than Aaron Judge's 9-year, I think, $360 million contract. The original consensus was that he was going to get somewhere around the 500 to 600 million mark. You knew it was going to be around 10 to 12 years. Yet, as you touched on it, is this really just overpaying? $700 million? That's just absurd.
Yeah, it does seem really absurd. But think about it like this. So Aaron Judge, he's getting, 9 years, $360 million contract. That's exactly $40 million a year. And then you have Aaron Nola, who's getting paid, $25 million a year for the next 7 years. So if you add the two together, that's 65 million. Then over 10 years, that's 650 million. And Shohei's a great player. He can do both of those things. So if you look at it in that way, the fact that he's a two-way player, and we'll see how long he is actually a two-way player. If you look at it like that, then you obviously know he's worth the money. But you also look at the fact that he's piled up a lot of injuries. Like in 2023, he tore his UCL, so he's not going to be playing as a pitcher next year, just going to be a DH. You have all those injuries in 2020, 2019, 2018, and 2017. And look, he's a pitcher. He's going to get injured. MLB is a long season. He's pitching and batting, so he's going to get injured. But the question is, how long will he continue to do this? Because if he doesn't have at least 5 years, so he's both pitching and batting, this contract might end up looking terrible. But I guess the Los Angeles Dodgers are in a win-now situation, so they probably just don't care.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it begs the question if Ohtani is going to be a two-way player his entire contract for the next 10 years. If he does, then I guess you could make a case that $700 million is kind of worth it with the fact that he's going to bring an international audience into the picture here. But if he doesn't, this is just a complete waste of money.
If you're looking at just a baseball perspective, I'd say most likely after those first 5 years, it might just look like a complete waste of money. His arm might get shot. But you also got to remember, he did play some fielding Japan, and I heard that he was pretty good at it. So he's not completely useless outside of pitching on the defensive side of things. But if you look at it from a marketing perspective, this is genius. Now, the LA Dodgers, they don't need any more marketing. They already have, they're in LA. They're a pretty good team, although they're known for choking. But bringing in Ohtani, who will have the entire Japanese audience with him, which is over 100 million people, that's going to incredibly boost their brand. They're going to get sponsors from all over the world. Everyone's going to want to sponsor him. So it just seems like the contract has already been worth the money.
Yeah, I think before this entire thing happened, the question was whether or not Ohtani was going to go to a contender or chase the bag. Seems like he got both at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does seem like he got both. Ohtani's not going to be pitching this year. So if Clayton Kershaw, if he chokes again, but we'll see. But all that attention from getting Ohtani and all these international stars, it might take a toll on you.
It seems like this deal was not just about Shohei Ohtani coming to LA. It seems like this deal was really about bringing the Japanese audience, which is a very powerful audience in the baseball sense of things. And also, Shohei Ohtani also recognized that because this $700 million, yes, it's going to him, but he's just going to get so much more money in terms of sponsors and brand deals.
I feel like most baseball fans will look at this and be like, oh my God, that's an overpay. Who knows how long he's going to be pitching in the MLB? And at the end of his career, he might just end up being a DH. Like, who knows? But for the Dodgers, they've already made their money back. There's so many stories of, Japanese players coming to teams, playing well, and then that organization starts getting Japanese sponsors. Based on that, they get more Japanese viewers, and the money just keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling until you have that meme with Breaking Bad where the guy's sitting on stacks of racks.
I think the funniest thing that was happened from this entire situation is the fact of that there were so many false reports that were coming out. I mean, just yesterday, we thought that Shohei Ohtani was on a plane to Toronto and he was going to sign with the Blue Jays. And then it turns out people were tweeting pictures of them on the plane saying that no, Shohei was not on this plane or that plane. And then we realized that was a false report. But then there was some correct reporting that he was going to sign sometime soon.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, all these MLB reporters, they're so thirsty. I mean, they know if they break this Otani news, it'll boost their career exponentially. So they're just willing to say random BS that they think might happen. And if they even if there's a percentage chance that it goes wrong, they're willing to take that risk because they know if it's right, that they're gonna be viewed as legendary baseball reporters. It's just sad how sports media has become. It's quite sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just in baseball, too. The other day, Woj was getting caught on fire. I think it was a Rutgers player that was committing. He was traveling to some office in New York to announce that he was going to be committing to Rutgers. And then Woj just somehow got that information and reported it. And everyone was just completely pissed off because that was that kid's chance to announce his commitment to Rutgers. And Woj just took that away from him.
Yeah, it's honestly it's quite sad, especially with college athletes. As much as you want to say, technically they're adults, they're not really playing this for money. And yeah, sure they get NIL money, but it's quite pathetic to be honest. Shame on you, Woj.
I mean, it's not just him, right? There was some bunch of poor reporting with Yamamoto.
Yeah, there's this reporting that like Yamamoto was only willing to play for a team that has a Japanese player, but no, that's not actually the reporting. The report was that he's willing to play for teams with Japanese players because for some reason some Japanese players they want to be the only Japanese player on that team. But like clearly that wasn't what Yamamoto said. He doesn't strictly need a Japanese player in his team to play for that team. He was just saying he's willing to play for one. Now that might have been a lost in mistranslation, but I would say that if you consider that being lost in mistranslation and Shohei Ohtani just completely flat out terrible journalism, you would see that there's clearly something wrong with reporters in the MLB.
Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe and check out this video here on if the Philadelphia Phillies are going to go trout fishing this offseason.